going to start on time.
Perfect.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Should I change clothes so
No.
people know that it was two separate ones?
It's not that much of a secret.
Oh, okay.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
You're listening to the AV-IT Amplifier. Each week, we'll feature voices and ideas that need to be amplified in the higher education and pro-AV IT communities. This show is brought to you by higheredav.com. And now here's your host, Ryan Gray.
Well, hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in again to the AV-IT Amplifier. My name is Ryan Gray. As always, I am your host. And if it is Wednesday, then your feed has been refreshed with new content. And this Wednesday is no exception to that. We have a very weird recording for you today as we are live, quote unquote live, at the Arizona Community College Technical Conference in Tucson, Arizona, when we got a big crowd for this one, currently 2 in the audience. So that cannot be blamed on my guest, as my name was the only name on the session. So that is definitely more my fault, my problem. But for everybody listening, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. So first, without further ado, Mr. Moss, good to see you. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
All right, would you introduce yourself? Who are you and what do you do?
I'm Zach Moss, and I am a project manager in the IT department at Yavapai College.
All right. And that, I think this makes you, not that I, go to the Yavapai College trough too. I think it makes you the 4th, 5th. No, I had Chief one time too. 5th or 6th guest we've had from Yavapai College on this show.
Oh, wow.
So, you know what I'm saying? But here's the thing. We do stuff pretty good. So I'm not too afraid to, have people talk about what we do. Agree or disagree?
No, I totally agree.
All right.
I love what we do and where we work.
Okay, so here's the fun part, which is technically Zach's office is right across the hall from mine, though I'm rarely in my office. He's rarely in his office, and we don't actually get to work together that much, but I hear a lot about what you work on in and day out. So let's start here. Project manager. The title project manager is almost as amorphous as my own title, which is it can mean whatever anybody thinks they want it to mean. What does it mean to you?
What does it mean to me? It's really tough to explain because my role will change depending on whatever project we're working on. Mm-hmm. I've done things from leading conversations in teams about how to remodel camps,
Yep.
all the way to ERP replacement.
Yeah.
So it just is different every single day. Even though we're still in that same hallway and we don't overlap in a lot of what we're doing, it still feels like we're all one unit moving towards similar goals, even though all our work is separated.
Fair point. Okay, so then let's put it this way. The role project manager, what should it mean?
What should it mean? I think I'm still trying to figure that out.
Okay.
This is the second position that I've had where I was the first project manager in an apartment, and so we had to kind of develop the role as it was coming along. I think here, and what it means is I am somebody that our executive team can say, hey, I don't want to do that. You do it.
Yeah. Yes. So to me, and tell me if I'm wrong, that's not exactly what a project manager is supposed to be.
I don't think so, but I don't know if you're not supposed to be that either. It should be somebody that is trustworthy, who can execute the work, execute projects the way that someone envisions it without them having to be a part of it.
Right. So then let's put it this way, of the things that you've worked on since you've been at Yavapai College, like you said, it varies a ton in what those things are. How many of them are things that, technically you could do on your own, but you're doing it with a team, and how many are the subject matter is beyond what, what you could do yourself, and so then you're more coordinating the work of subject matter experts in a particular area.
Yeah, that's really interesting. There hasn't been too many projects that I've taken on here that I've been able to execute at all.
Yeah.
It requires specialized people who have all the skills and then bringing that together. So I guess we'll answer that what a project manager is question throughout this conversation.
Yeah.
But coming back to it, I can't do anything without the team. I don't know how to do the coding that some of the team members do. I don't know what the day in and day out life of someone looks like that's using Banner for ERP. So the ERP project, for example, has about 50 stakeholders that are involved in it. That we meet, weekly as teams or as a whole unit, and it's a lot of coordination. But more so, it's not just coordinating these conversations, but it's moving them along. The team hits a blocker, the vendor doesn't have something that we need, then I start the ball rolling on what do we need to get to where we're missing, or how do we remove this barrier.
So how do you, because this is fascinating to me, negotiate in that place where you have internal experts in certain areas, we have internal stakeholders, and you're kind of sitting in the middle trying to, like you said, keep something moving, alleviate a stumbling block, when the things that might be the stumbling block could be an acronym of something you've never heard before. Because this happens to me all the time, right? There's a reason we can't get something done, and the reason is something that I do not understand what it is or why that it exists in the first place.
Yes, it happens weekly, almost daily. There's a lot of projects going on at once, so I have to be able to switch what I'm talking about or thinking about and know who the key team members are on each one of those, so I can go to them with a problem. And I'm really transparent about it, flat out. I don't know. I don't know how to do this, but I know you know how to do it. And then it's the same questions. How long do you think this will take? Ideally, what should it look like when we're done with it? And when can you do it? And, we work with the time frames from there. Very seldomly do we have to pivot around our priorities to make room for an emergency, because we have a team that is so spread out in skill set that they can take these things on as they come, instead of us having to be, constant firefighters.
Yeah. So your experience has been that because we have had some crazy stuff, we've had some crazy challenges, but project work has been able to stay on track to some extent without getting completely pulled awry? Or is it just that you're having to look at time frames based upon urgent things that come up?
Now that I'm really thinking about it, I think I live in a constant state of emergency the last 2 years, and I just don't know what normal is anymore.
Yeah.
I guess I am trading problems for other problems regularly with some of the projects that are coming about. But it doesn't feel stressful, so it's okay. I don't know. It's a really weird one. But thinking about it more, we've got a lot of problems, actually. Maybe it's the project management.
No, I don't think that's the case. And if we didn't have problems, then, all these things would be easy, right? The reason we need experts and we need, plans and we need defined outcomes and we need that is because creating something that didn't exist beforehand, right? The outcome of whatever project we know is going to be about solving problems as you go along. So you mentioned before, and this is something you say a lot, which is, but I don't feel stressed about it.
Yeah, really.
How do you do that?
I don't know, to be honest. I don't have a lot of skills, but the skills I do have, I'm real good at, and being relaxed is one of them.
Okay.
It's just easy. It's super easy.
Okay, but you have to explain that to the rest of us. The rest of us don't know how to do that.
I think I take really good notes. Yeah. So I only think about the problem that's in front of me instead of worrying about all the ones that I have to figure out or solve. I could tell you what I know I need to think about on Thursday, even though today's Tuesday, but I'll get there on Thursday. So I think the first thing is I take it as it comes, one step at a time, one problem at a time, one project at a time, even though I've got several that are happening. Yeah. So I can compartmentalize really, really well. So I think that's the first step, is I'm only looking at what's in front of me instead of worrying about the next thing that's coming or what will be right after that task.
No, that's interesting, that idea to say, I know this is a problem that has to get dealt with, but that's a Thursday problem, and you can hold that as a future thing without it affecting today's problem to solve.
So before I walked in here, I was on a phone call, and the phone call was about we might not go live with something that we've been building for 2 months tomorrow.
Yes.
And we might go live on Monday or Tuesday. But we
Right.
built enough runway to go live on Monday or Tuesday as well. So it's all of those issues we're planned around. It's okay that we're not going to meet the exact goal that we had of going live tomorrow because it's not ready.
Right.
But we know that we have 3 more days before we have to. So I think that's the other thing too on top of that is looking at each problem as it comes, but also planning enough risk tolerance that it would be okay for us to pivot as needed.
Yeah. There's a thing that comes up a lot is creating imperatives. What things are imperative and what aren't, and how often people create imperatives that don't actually exist. So for instance, you could have the same conversation. It's like, no, we said we're going live tomorrow. And so whatever has to happen to make that happen, like, and being able to be free enough to go, well, what is the real consequence if it's not tomorrow? Instead of, like, do you have to balance that with different people's expectations of what's happening? And if so, how do you do it?
Oh, yeah. Number one, I'm really happy I didn't have to describe what imperative meant, that you explained it for me because I wasn't too certain. But, yeah, you have stakeholders or executives that are driving something and it's not flexible. You're pretty aware of that right away when that project starts. So, again, it's all about doing that pre-planning of making sure the team has what they need and the time they need to be able to meet those more rigid deadlines or milestones. The reality with IT stuff, it's not always like that. We're really, really flexible. It's just kind of the nature of the work that we do. You're preparing for something and everything goes awry. We're still going to have a conclusion. We're still going to have a solution for whatever we're doing. So I think that's the biggest thing is right away that something is rigid and you plan for that. And then you do the same risk acceptance or tolerance review, but it's opposite. Instead of saying, can we shift the day, you say, we can't shift the day, but we don't have these 2 features because these ones aren't ready yet.
Right.
So we would re-level those expectations with that more rigid stakeholder and say, hey, we've got 1 through 5 done, but we didn't get 6 and 7 done, but we're still going to go live. 6 and 7 will come out in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. And how, 2 questions. It's generalized, which is how do you see people respond when you have to recalibrate expectations? Or what strategies do you use, especially if that's not that people might either be met with disappointment or it's going to cause a problem or more work for them to not have something happen. Like, what do you do to smooth over things that have to be changed versus what somebody expected to happen? That was the worst way to word that question.
I think it goes back to me trying to be transparent with the team all the time.
Yeah.
I share everything I can share right when I know it. Often I'll end conversations with Sean, someone I work with often, or with Patrick, who I report to, and I'll say, you know everything I know.
Yeah.
I've shared everything that I know. I shared my thoughts or emotions that I have attached to it, maybe even vent a little bit about what we're doing. But we pivot with the ERP project. We started out originally planning to go live with our new portal prior to moving to SaaS.
Right.
6 months into it or 4 months into it, we said, nope, we're going to go live with everything all at once. 2 months later, we pivoted again and said, this January, we pivoted and said, hey, we should go live with it as soon as we can. We went live 2 weeks.
Right.
2 weeks ago. It just constantly changes with what we're working on, the information that's in front of us to make the wisest choice of what we can do for our stakeholders moving forward. So it's just a constant, transparent, maybe that guy doesn't know what he's got going on really, but he shared it with us, so I guess we're okay.
Well, so obviously, transparency can breed trust.
Yeah.
Right. And I think, that's a key thing. And does that contribute to that feeling you're talking about of like not being stressed, which is you're not trying to create an impression or cover something that may or may not be able to be delivered on. Like if everybody knows the truth, then there's less to be worried about.
Truly, yeah, and that helps level the executive stakeholder expectations on things. We started an implementation 2 years ago with a product. It replaced what we were using for scheduling, and it has turned into the forever project that we can't seem to finish because the vendor can't just pull us across the finish line for it. And now we're using the product in production, finding bugs, fixing those with the vendor, and it is just this really long, everybody knows this is not how we would have written the book if we were the authors on this one. And we all kind of feel the same way about it, but again, with that trust in the team, we just kind of got to keep moving forward. Again, going back to the IT culture, we have to have a solution.
Right.
We don't get to, the power's off, so we'll just come back on later and we'll worry about it then. Like we have to have a workaround. So it's a constant evolution of whatever solution is needed for that moment, with the ideal goal of we implement solutions that we don't have to work on anymore because they work.
Right. Well, I'll relate it to something else. I was doing a session with instructors a little bit ago, and the session was about finding, it was targeted for our instructors who are afraid of the pace of change of technology, right? Everything's happening around them. They don't feel like they have control. And the metaphor I try and give is, it feels like there's a lot of change happening in technology. It feels like you're going down whitewater rapids and you're just trying to hold on till the next smooth lake.
Oh yeah, AI's taking our jobs tomorrow.
Well, but here's the thing. There's no smooth lake coming.
Never.
Right? That we're that doesn't exist. And like you said, I feel like I've been in this state of emergency for 2 years.
Yeah.
I don't remember what normal is.
Yeah.
I don't know that normal ever exists again. So what I challenged them with was, whitewater rapids only suck if you're trying to do it in your fishing boat. If you're doing it in a canoe or in your canoe, in a kayak,
No, canoes are
and
good,
you're excited about being there, you know what I'm saying? Then it's not as bad.
Yeah.
So it sounds like what you're describing is here's how I've had to build the kayak that's buoyant, that can flip back over when we get tossed, and when the river goes a direction we didn't think. It doesn't. We don't crash and burn and then have to stop and go, what do we do next? We bounce off and we keep moving.
Exactly, and that goes back to having the right teams for all these projects. We have the right teams, the right skill set, working ideally on things they want to work on or involved in because they're going to be the end users at the end of the day. So we have all the right people with the right ownership that they want to take on these tasks for that solution, whatever we're developing.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about that, which is tasks in a project assigned because they have to do it. They're being told this is what you have to do versus, like you said, people who actually have ownership in the end result. And how do you manage, how do you make sure the right people are on the team in the first place? And if you don't have the right person, how do you keep things moving anyways?
Well, in the instances where the right person maybe isn't approaching the tasks or the work they need to do like the majority of the team, which is without me telling them.
Yeah.
And it's someone that needs to have the information pushed to them or pulled. Either way, I just kind of meet them wherever they're at. So one of the most negative experiences that I've had in my career doing that is someone who doesn't respond to email, who doesn't show up at Zoom meetings. They're not even in-person meetings, and doesn't answer the phone. And
that sounds a lot like me.
No,
right?
not at all.
Is that who you're talking about?
This wasn't even.
I don't do any of those three things.
This doesn't happen at YC. So,
yeah, it does. Yeah, see, back there, he's like, oh, no, that Ryan does that all the time. That's 100% true.
I would meet that person where they're at.
Yeah.
Physically.
Oh, yeah, literally go to them.
To get done what I need.
Yeah.
So really all that to say is I try to meet each person where they're at and communicate the way that they like it. We have some folks in IT who don't turn their cameras on for any meeting ever all the time.
Right.
I never, ever ask them to turn their camera on.
No.
I know that they don't want to do that, and that isn't where they're at with how they want to communicate in whatever call we're on. Don't care. I really just meet everyone exactly where they're at. There are some folks who enjoy phone calls more. I do have to plan those a little bit better because I can't multitask and talk on the phone at the same time. And so if I got to cut out 30 minutes, it can really kill me in some progress on some things. But that's kind of where I think is that happens. As far as the teams and getting tasks that they don't want to do, I think that I've worked with so many folks frequently now, at this point, I know they won't want them. I know they won't like them. I'll share that I know that. But I also know what they do like. And I can say, hey, this was a request that just came in. We don't have it on our priority list, but I need to be interested in it. And it's something they want to go do right away.
Yeah.
So you learn all of these things and who those power players are. One of the cool things at YC, if you're really good at your job, you get more work there. So I know a lot of people who do a lot of work.
Yes, you do. All right, so what you're describing there a little bit, and I think this goes back to maybe one of the first or second conversations we ever had before you came on, which is emotional intelligence, right? Which is, technology problems actually aren't that big of a problem because, and it's not totally true, but like you can fix a bug. Human problems are messy.
Yes.
Because people are messy.
Yes.
And it just feels like constantly either playing chess or building a puzzle with human puzzle pieces that not only are they all different shapes, the same ones are in different shapes on different days.
Yes.
And you somehow can do that and not feel stressed about it.
I think I take it just like the problems one at a time, the conversations one at a time with whoever needs whatever's happening. I think one of the most important things to remember is this is just work, and everyone has their own life outside of that, and you have no idea what anyone's going through on any given day. So I think with that just in mind, it's easier to go, they didn't not do that because they had a personal vendetta against me. They just didn't get done. So I don't think I take too many things personal when it comes to that kind of stuff. And then, being there for people and hearing them when they have those negative days or they're having high pressure days and just letting them have the opportunity to vent or talk about whatever it is that's happening usually is all someone needs. I think emotional intelligence is pretty much what we all have to do, just as much as I think every department's an IT department now. Everyone has software. Everyone's using a computer. You have to know these things, and I think I don't think about it too frequently. This is something we have to have that skill set in order to be leading people. It just doesn't. I don't know how you could do it without it.
Right. But
poorly, I guess.
But I think we can all point to examples of that we've seen.
Sure.
Right, where a system requirement outweighs any other any other factor. Where there's some rigidity that makes the human part of it, impossible, and therefore things break down or whatever. Right, like you seem to have a high tolerance for ambiguity.
Oh, yeah, I'm super good at that.
Right. And a lot of people don't. And I'm going to be clear, that's okay.
Yeah.
Because if the world is full of people that don't need concrete answers, nothing ever actually gets done, right? So
yeah, I mean, I think what is another one I say is, that'll probably get done or it won't. Yeah, sure. Right. Yeah, definitely.
Sure.
Or maybe.
Or maybe not.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So I think I use humor a lot, so that helps. But I don't need to have everything figured out right now because, again, I'm dealing with so many problems at once. I just can't solve them all.
Yeah.
We'll solve the one that needs to be solved right now, and hopefully there's a domino effect that fixes some things magically, and sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes it really works out. Where you fix one thing and everything else just falls into place.
That's what we talk about this too, where there's a lot of, for all the things we notice and can clock that have gone wrong, are we clocking and giving ourselves credit for the things that actually went better than expected, right? Are we looking at both sides of the distribution curve, right? And those things you go, they come and go, so all you can look back on and remember are the hardships. But when something happens and everything just clicks, like,
don't even give it a second thought.
just stop.
It's a terrible habit of mine. Terrible. In fact, in my review this past year, that was one of the things I wrote down, and I said, I don't celebrate wins.
Yeah.
I thank the team members. I call people out when they do something great. But it's in a group chat with 7 people I look at every single day that I see all the time. And so it's just a quick, we're starting this meeting about XYZ. Thanks for ABC that you did. That was really, really good. And then I move on. I'm terrible at celebrating it.
Why?
I think because of those problems all stack up. And so I don't take time. I just jump to the next one, because if you get more work, you got to work. And so I think that's what happens. But it's definitely something that I've been thinking about and trying to figure out how to slow down so I can remember all of those wins. I'll probably have to start writing them down. That's usually how I do most things.
Well, you say take good notes, right?
Yeah,
and
the
you would
key.
have to in your.
Yeah.
Okay, so then, while we've got a couple minutes, I'll give you one other one, which is, not saying this has happened, but things like this happen. You in a project, you have somebody that is using. I'll just say it outright. Is either injects ambiguity or uses ambiguity as a way to avoid completing something or creating, you know what I'm saying? Like to avoid accountability.
The opposite way that I'm using it.
Well, yeah. So, and I think we all have this, which is you get into a meeting and somebody says, is XYD on? And the phrase that always comes out is, well, it was my understanding that X, even though in a meeting or in a thing, it is written down, it is understood, but they're challenging you to actually say, you just didn't do it. But they're not willing to say, I just didn't do it. They're saying, well, I thought it was supposed to be this other thing.
That totally happens. And so I go back to that transparency skill. I just call that out right away, right there. I'm not trying to blame anybody, but I'll flat say, hey, we need this done. You didn't do it yet. We need this from you. When can you have it done?
Yeah.
Especially if it's something that's along those rigid lines and we don't have that tolerance to move those tasks. Or if it's dependent on something else.
Yeah.
So I usually am just point blank, and it's hey, we need this. Can you get it done today?
Right.
Or, hey, we need this. Can you get it done by Monday? Because this is when we're doing this with the vendor or however it goes. So I think that transparency cuts both ways.
And do you, this is another side thing, because I think this actually probably is dependent upon the person, but that calling it out, whether it's just you and them or it's in a meeting with an audience.
Majority of the time, we're in tight-knit groups that are working well together and dependent on each other, that I can do that in the meeting without calling someone out, but still nailing them down for what we need. Maybe 10% of the time, it's a separate phone call or a separate email that is a touch more formal because that's what the person requires or how we have to communicate. Again, that communication level, I just meet them where they're at.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I just want to get it done. I'm not taking it personal. You need me to do these things in order to feel comfortable to do the work. Yeah, I'll do that. That's fine.
Right.
I'll do whatever you want so you can get it done for me because I don't know how to do it.
Right. There's such a one of the things I like to say is, right, the main thing is to make the main thing, and just be like, I'll come meet you where you need to be told you're pretty and special every day in order to, right? You need to be told you're important and busy. You need to be told
I'll learn a new language. I'll do it. Yeah.
Exactly. Whatever that is you need, because the main thing is for us to complete this thing for our students, faculty, and staff. Yeah. And you're going, I'm not going to get caught up in the motto of the power struggle or something like that.
No, it's just a job.
Just keep it moving.
Can't care about it that much.
That's a hard thing to do.
It's too personal that way.
I know, but it is very difficult to have that kind of both engaged and detached perspective.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm saying, all right, maybe it's just me. I think it's really hard to do. I understand the concept.
Sure.
I understand the radical acceptance of reality as it is and that sort of thing. But then God, sometimes just why are people the way they are, you know?
Yeah, there's a handful of those, but you just work around it.
Okay. You got any seminars, like psychology seminars coming up
I don't
that
think
we could
so.
do or something? I don't know.
I would say, going back to that, if you're good at your work, you get more work.
Yeah.
Oh, there are some folks who aren't terrific at their work.
Yeah.
And I don't put them on the project team anymore.
Right.
I kind of just pick who I want to work with, and I have really good freedom that way. And for the most part, because I've had all these relationships and built trust, we're not starting from zero.
Yeah.
It's not a start from scratch type of thing. And I think that also really, really plays to my benefit. There are times where I don't get to pick some team members, and I know what I can expect out of them, and that the rate might be a little bit lower than everyone else's, and maybe I give them some tasks that aren't as imperative or important when we're looking at all. I give them the work that I know they can succeed at.
So it's really what it is just your world, and we're all living in it one way or the other.
I mean, the chessboard thing, I was like, yeah, I could be that. But your puzzle
you
pieces
literally
probably
have a
better.
chessboard in your office.
I do.
Yeah.
I do, but no one plays, and I'm sure I'll lose immediately if I
I don't think any of us even know how to do it. We're not that bright.
I just like the little wood horses.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. All right. All right. So now, half hour later, after having this conversation, what does being a project manager truly mean?
I think a project manager is somebody who can take a scope of work or a goal and execute it. That's probably the best way to put it.
That's not bad.
There's a lot of skill set and things that you have to have involved in that, like that emotional intelligence and all those other things we were talking about. But at the end of the day, it's just taking something that's nothing and completing
Putting it together.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty succinct. Love it.
Yeah.
All right. If people out there wanted to, get connected with you, learn more about who you are and what you do, how would they go about doing that? You're like, I don't want people to.
Yeah, I
know
have
about
an email, and you can email me.
Yeah?
At work.
Me. All right.
That's all I have, though.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
No LinkedIn. No.
Oh, I have a LinkedIn. I do. I have
do?
a LinkedIn. I
All
totally
right.
forgot about that.
All right.
I just deleted the app from my phone.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know why, but I
problem.
have it. Yeah. So I
Well,
have a LinkedIn.
All right, everybody. I will put the link to Zach's LinkedIn, and everybody now needs to go and let's get his numbers up. You know what I'm saying? Let's send him messages every day. Really, I think he'd be excited to hear from a whole lot of people.
That'd be great. But remember, I don't have the app on my phone, so
you're not gonna see
I
it
might
anymore.
not see it. And I just turned all the emails off too because they were emailing me too much.
All right. Well, I've turned all my emails off too. It's just that I've turned off all my emails.
Oh, good.
From everyone.
I should try that. I haven't tried that one yet.
I mean, I don't know what the end result's going to be, but I don't like. Never mind.
I haven't looked at my screen in 30 minutes. It's
I know.
freaking me
There's
out.
no telling what problem is happening right now. All right, Zach. Half an hour goes quickly. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right.
Thank you for listening to the AVIT Amplifier. Tune in next week for more with today's guest. It'll be great or your money back. Your host has been Ryan Gray. He's on the tweeters at Ryan_A_Gray, or find him on LinkedIn to connect. Please subscribe and give the show a rating and review wherever you get your podcasts. This show is brought to you by higheredav.com. The views expressed here are not necessarily those of our respective institutions, employers, or sponsors. Everyone hang in there, go easy, and we'll be back next week.